Play a clip. I didn't realize this. Moody reminded me of this, since we're just putting it all out in the open. Moody reminded me of this, because I guess Pat told me in December that Felicia Gillespie was super tipping him under like a pseudonym. And I told Moody that, and we laughed, and it was funny, and we moved on. Then Moody, I guess because this back and forth between all of them keeps going on, and now Taz is involved. You know, Taz made like 10 hours of videos or something about Felicia. Like it was too much to I don't even know what they're fighting about. No, like she said that I didn't do this and I wasn't home when I was on you can tell from the background of my car that I didn't. Like I started trying to watch. I was just like, I have no fucking clue. And this is as insane as Aaron talking about April every day while he lives with Slam Piece. Like him and Taz and Pat together, and they just can't stop talking about Felicia. Like no one cares about this girl. We all think she's not. No one doesn't think Felicia is insane. The problem is now everyone thinks you're insane. And I told you this would happen. Like I told you, like you look nuts. Just like this has been 10 months or something. It's weird. So then this happened.
On Fuddle, of course, is Felicia Gillespie. She's written tasks as Ron Fuddle, and she super chatted me anonymously, but using her name though. Actually, you know, she probably didn't think I had access to that information, but you can't use your card unless it matches with the zip code. That's a fact. So the zip code is not trying to dox or anything. I mean, it's just the name of a town. So I don't consider that doxing. Now, anybody else sends an anonymous thing, I have no interest in figuring out who you are, looking to see who you are, or anything.
This is the only good note about this. Like, first of all, everything is in the privacy policy in terms of service of Supertip. Like, from the beginning, like, of course we can't process your credit card without your information. But luckily for you, Supertip doesn't process credit cards. Stripe does. So the selling point of Supertip is that Supertip doesn't charge you shit. Like you're directly being charged by each creator. That's the beauty of it. We could never fail. This was my whole point all along, because you tried this before. All the trolls and haters tried it before. We're like, he's going to steal your money. We never get your money. We don't have your money. Pat Dixon opens up a merchant account with Stripe, which you can all go do. It's amazing these days. This used to take a lot of paperwork and time with a bank. So that you can hook up your Shopify store or your membership website or whatever to Stripe, a credit card payment processor that provides payment services. So when you super tip Pat, you are directly being charged by Pat. When you tip NLO through super tip, you are directly being charged by NLO. Super tip never charges you anything yet. Look, I'm not in control of it anymore. The point is, it's the same as if you went to Pat Dixon's website and bought a t-shirt or any of that stuff. Pat Dixon gets certain information. Now, the beauty of Stripe is it's very, very privacy centric and forward. And anybody who charges your card giving out your information will not be accepted or tolerated. threatening to give out somebody's information or doxing them will not be tolerated by this platform. And even though you have limited information, I think with our system, we basically get, we basically collect on our site zip code, card number, expiration, CVV, and we have your email address from you logging in. And if not, we ask for it. And that's pretty much to give you a receipt. But of course, that gets sent to Stripe. We never get that. Supertip does not get that. We don't collect it. That goes straight from our website to Stripe, gets processed, yay or nay. I'm pretty sure that's all we receive is like an ack or knack. We find out if the payment went through or not. We display the tip. As that transaction goes through Stripe, it pays out a percentage to us. But if you ever need a refund, you contact the creator, because the creator's the one that charged you, not Supertip. If you ever want to claim fraud or whatever, the beauty of Supertip, we set it up like this in the beginning. We didn't charge you shit. So you got to take that up with the creator. You gave money to Pat Dixon. You don't feel like you got your money's worth. You want to do a chargeback. Whatever. You're not charging back to Supertip. You're charging back to Pat Dixon. And because of this, you can kind of like choose which creators you want to support and which creators you don't want to support. It's independent of the platform and other creators. Pat Dixon can't see that you gave money to Cardiff Electric or whatever. Like, that's not how anything works either. Pat Dixon sees when people give Pat Dixon money. And he has a merchant account, which he's entered into a contract with Stripe with, to collect your personal information and not disclose it. He doesn't get your full credit card number. He doesn't get any of that stuff. He gets like email, zip code, maybe IP address. I don't even know if he gets that. I've looked at it so little that I don't even realize it. You know, like from a real store, they might get the full email address, but from our system, they don't. Or sorry, physical address, but from our system, they don't. So this may just be unclear to people who are tipping. When you come to the site and it asks you to log in with Twitter or YouTube or stay anonymous, this is for your presentation of the tip on screen. If you don't want your username up there, if you don't want your Twitter account, your YouTube name, that's what that's for. It'll come up anonymous when displayed on the screen. Of course, there's no possible way to charge a credit card if you're anonymous. So, of course, the system behind the scenes knows. There is no way on our panel on Supertip's website to look up a real customer information, any real customer information. You have to go into your merchant account with Stripe to do that, where your credit cards are charged. We just don't store it. We don't store it. And our agreement with Google doesn't let us store anything after 30 days. All this is in our privacy policy, which was just updated in October on the website at Supertip. It's very clear. We tell you that this information is collected, that it's passed on through Stripe. All of it's there. This is a nothing burger from a bunch of trolls who want to kick stuff up. And I get it. I know this is going to happen. But Supertip didn't do shit. This is Pat Dixon. And Pat Dixon may not have even violated Stripe's terms. I'm not sure. But this whole thing was me looking out for Pat. Is how it started. Watch this clip.
Happen to know in this case that this was Felicia trying to talk me into being with her. And these anonymous super tips, which as it turns out were very easy to see who it was. So
yeah, I think we will do a better. I take this as a note that we need to make it more clear on maybe the checkout that the creator or the broadcaster, whoever gets can see the email address, can see some of your information. Click here to read our privacy policy. Something like that. I can understand how it could be misconstrued that you think you clicked stay anonymous and you think maybe Supertip charges your card and then we give the money to Pat and he doesn't see who gave that money. Okay, fair enough. I'll take a note. But to think that your information wasn't the reason this is a dumb argument is because you're like, I never would have gave it if I thought it would get to Pat. It's like, well, you knew Supertips was Patrick's company and Patrick was friends with Pat. So why would you trust Patrick to not give your info over to Pat Dixon? Either way, someone's collecting your credit card info. You're not that dumb, right? You know that that's how credit cards work.
Yeah, and pretty funny, that she would be writing this stuff, because I'm the devil, right? And this is what it's escalated to now on her end. That she's wanting to see me again or talk to me, whatever.
For people who don't know what's going on, Felicia Gillespie was sending in super tips to Pat through a different name. He found out who she was by going into his Stripe back in and seeing her zip code. And because that's her zip code, and I guess she lives in the middle of nowhere, Pat's certain that this is Felicia Gillespie. I guess he doesn't even know because it was like a fake email address. So I don't even think he's positive. He's just guessing based on the zip code.
Let's see. About a week ago, Felicia said she would talk. She's talking about it like she's, like she had said, previously. So you need to hear from Felicia. Maybe we can make it happen.
So this is Felicia putting in super tips to him about seeing him or getting honesty out of him or asking about Taz and his relationship.
How much money to say what you'd say to her in person? These are two different super tips. These both came from her.
This is high school shit. I can't reiterate it enough, and I've told Pat all this in person many times over text. This is so insane. What would you say to her if you could see her again? And then you're rereading this to us. It's like, you're fucking 50. You guys, you deserve each other. This is fucking pathetic. Felicia runs over to MLC and Pat said this and Pat's doing this. And then you do your show where you and Taz are getting to the bottom of it. It's like, what's going on? Does anyone just want to go live a life and be happy? This has been going on for months. I don't even know what it's about. What's the problem? And Pat's like, well, I'm sick of the stalking. She's stalking me. Doing what? What? I don't really want an answer. You look nuts. You are looking nuts. Whatever her plan was, it worked because she make you look nuts. And before, all I did was think she was nuts. But this is all nuts. This is nuts. This is fucking retarded.
I think it's interesting. I don't care if anybody else thinks it's interesting or not. Nobody cares. That's fine. But it's out. How much money to say what you'd say to her in person? And each time one of these would come in, I would just go, shut up. Stop bringing it up. I'm not into it. Not into it. Felicia said she would talk. $3. She said you blocked her. I said if she wants to talk, she can reach out to me.
So now he's going back through them and telling us all the. I'm not even kidding. We don't have a formal contract with you. Just so you know, my initial thing when I reached out to Pat was can you just clarify that you're going through and getting all her shit and doing this on Stripe and not Supertip? And he's like, yeah, of course. That's what I said. No. You said Supertips aren't anonymous and I can see that it's her. And then it gets weirder. And but by the way, the reason people select anonymous on Supertip is because they don't want their name to be known on the show that they gave that tip. So by you going into Stripe, looking up all her tips, finding out that's her, coming back and retroactively going through and going, look, that was her, that was her, that was her. Going back and reliving those, and then now reading the list to us, telling us all the tips that were really Felicia, you're kind of like breaking the terms of like, she didn't want that out on the show that was her. You understand? And that like a real company would like, fuck, man, why are you bringing me into this? So like, while it is true that you went to Stripe and looked up all the information, now that you know what you know, you're going back into our system and on your show. It's one thing to do it to yourself, to know your customer and go, Moody told you this over text. It's like there's power in you knowing that she's doing that and you don't say a fucking word. You just let her keep giving you money. But it's getting to Pat so much he had to come out with this to own her back. And now you're telling us every tip she's ever tipped anonymously to you. It's like, yeah, this could be a problem. And again, not for us, for you. For you. You don't have many income streams. You lost your YouTube. I'm trying to help. I was trying to tell you you're breaking Stripe's shit. But if this company gets purchased, which it is, it looks like, again, everything's. Like they'll just kick you off. They don't need someone breaking the rules or causing trouble, or, you know, like, God forbid Felicia keeps harassing you and then you snap and kill her, because I don't know how stable you are. And then this ends up in a police report. Well, after harassing him through the Supertip system so many times, we don't need it. We don't need it. And a company putting a lot of money into the company and taking it where they want to take it doesn't need the trouble either. So they probably ban Felicia from the system for harassment, and you under the, I don't know what this is, some threat or like. This got nasty quick. My first message was like, can you please clarify? Thank you. And then it all got, immediately one of their people in their chat started going like, I think he can talk about her anytime he wants to. She's the one harassing him. And it's like, okay, no. And then Taz started going like, to be fair, she was stalking us first and da-da-da-da-da, so she deserves anything it's like, that's not what we're doing. Fuck. The old she was speeding too officer. Ugh.
She said you blocked her. That's another $3 super tip. $3 from Felicia Gillespie. If she blocked, she can't respond. I let you know.
The super tips are coming up.
So here's one.
So you need to hear from Felicia. Maybe we can make it happen.
There we go.
Again, he only thinks this is her because of the zip code. He doesn't even know it's her. And now he's saying it's her. From what I understand, it's a fake email address. I don't know if he's seeing the name or if it's a different name. He says I verified it. It's the same email address. Or it's the same zip code. So I don't even know if he's positive it's her. And now he's going back and replaying and goes, these were all Felicia. You don't see how this is a problem? You don't see how this is a problem for us.
That was in Kumia's voice. Then there was this one. We'll go to the Pam cam. So yeah, this is better to show them all anyway.
She wanted all these to be anonymous, but let's play them all. This is her. This one's her. This one's her. You don't see how that's a problem.
Nope. And that's just the second one, so I can do this. Do you still want to see Gilly?
It's all Felicia.
It's all Felicia, yeah. Provably so. Ask me for the proof.
Ask me for the proof. Now he'll share it with you. Now he's telling you, anybody who wants to know, I'll share with you the private details of a transaction from Stripe. Hello? you're going to lose your merchant account. He doesn't like, I think to this moment, he doesn't fucking understand.
I'm like,
He
what?
texted me this morning, dude, if I broke Stripe's rules, it's my problem. It's not. We have working enterprise relationships with these companies. Contracts. Over $1,000 a month. Contracts. Like, we work in tandem with their principles and our like, what are you? We're not going to have a business partner that's unhappy about something and then let it go. You got to wake up. You got to wake up. It's my problem. It's about to be your problem.
And I don't really feel like putting anybody's information out there that doesn't need to be out there any more than it is.
Why would you?
But, you know, if you want to see the last 4 digits of her credit card, like when you buy something,
If you want to see the last 4 digits of her credit card number,
you are giving this information to the vendor. That's just the way it is. So that's just reality. You know, this is not some kind of double cross.
so this is the problem. It's you going, you want to see her email address? You want to see all the things she's purchased? Do you want to see her zip code? Do you want to see the last 4 of her credit card number? What are you doing? What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? No, I thought you were allowed to do anything. It's your data. Holy shit. Like,
You are giving this information to the vendor. That's just the way it is. So that's just reality. You know, this is not some kind of double cross. This is me saying, Felicia reached out to me to try and, yeah. Do you still want to see Gilly? How much to say what you would say to her in person? Felicia.
see, this part's not even crazy. You going through and showing every anonymous super tip, again, that's what's probably going to be a problem. And I can tell you there were talks about it today. I don't want Pat off. I'm not, but I'm about to not be in control of anything. That's what this was all concern for Pat. This got so twisted. You'll see when we watch the MLC stuff in a minute.
Felicia said she would talk. I started saying, like, what are you, her agent or something? Felicia said she would talk. What the about? What the do you want to talk about with Satan like me?
So it's the threats. Again, I think to this minute, he doesn't understand that, like, giving out that information and threatening to give it out is insane. No one didn't think you had. Again, I think everybody going like, wow, they get your shit. I think that's completely dishonest trolling. You giving it out, that's insane. And what's going to happen is, as a result of you doing this to stick it to an ex-girlfriend, people aren't going to trust you. It's the same as Chad Zumach getting your address and stuff and harassing you, finding out personal information about you, harassing family members, loved ones, looking for dirt on you personally it leads to less trust of you. And it's not going to, again, I'm not worried about Supertip. I'm not worried about the Supertip platform. As you can see, people are sending in Supertips. Over on Pat Dixon's show, if you go watch it tonight, it's available publicly. There were $0 in super tips sent in. Taz was sending in free ones with Rumble rants, which is exactly what the service is intended for. So what happened? These are Pat Dixon's fans not using super tip all of a sudden. What happened? uncertainty, lack of trust. Anybody want to see her last 4 credit cards? It's my information to show. Again, the lack of even going like, oh, fuck, yeah, maybe that was a little over. No. It's my information. It's my data. It isn't. It most assuredly isn't. And again, this is between you and Stripe, really, not me. But as a friend, I really did try. Let's watch Doom break it down with Kevin.
Is this it? Oh, here it is. Boom. Thank you, Doom.
We've had some new
By the way,
development.
Is this it? Oh, here.
That looks like the sculpture of me. That looks like the way he's leaning in that angle. That looks like the Mike David sculpture of me. Tatanka.
Here it is. Boom. Thank you, Doom.
We've had some new developments. First of all, Pat Dixon is using the Melton Supertip system. We all know that, right? So, and then he's through this, you have access to everybody's information. So anybody that uses, there's a clip of Pat Dixon saying that he can see the person's information through Melton Supertip system, even though it says it's anonymous.
Yeah, so I think that's the messaging is like, and again, I think the people doing it are being dishonest, but they're filling out the tip and selecting to stay anonymous. Then you go to a credit card form where you have to put in your name, zip code, and credit card number, and you think that's a continuality of the anonymity? Like, again, we'll do a better job of the messaging of that. Message heard. But if you want to keep this illusion up that you like, I thought it was anonymous the whole time I was putting in my credit card number. It's like, okay.
Melton swore up and down that his Supertip system didn't
Melton
give
swore up and down
any access to people's information, but
Melton swore up and down that Supertip system didn't give access to people's information. So that's the clip we're waiting for. That's what we're waiting for. How Melton explained that it processes credit cards without taking any info. We have you fill it out for fun. We don't really like take it.
according to this clip of Pat, he says otherwise. Dixon was claiming that Felicia was sending him super chips, and he could just go to the super tip system. Last night they were blaming it on.
Yeah, so that was the main thing I wanted him to clarify. You're not looking this up on super tip because we don't have it. The reason I'm not, like, you need to tell people you went digging to try to connect. You have to like find the timestamps and the amounts and match them up to figure this all out. It's not like in our panel. So that's wild.
Stripe, the Stripe system.
Everything is fine. The super chat system keeps creators and retarded fans like T.O. Hank more safe if you think about it. Yeah, I look, that's going to be the problem is like you tip creators you trust and like. This is the difference. You know, YouTube charging 35% because they're an intermediary, and it's so much more complicated to take money, keep it in an escrow account, keep track of what everybody made, pay it all out at the end of the month. That's a nightmare that Supertip didn't want. It's not what we want to do. We don't want to be a bank holding money all month and paying it out. That's what YouTube does. They hold your money hostage. The whole point of this is direct from tipper to creator, and we're like the lube that makes it fun.
Okay, this is Melton sending Pat Dixon super tips last night. He actually doesn't have the right. He's talking about Pat Dixon. He actually doesn't have the right to disclose this customer information, violation of a merchant agreement by disclosing customer information, and could be actionable. So it's not a tee funny thing.
Right. I'm trying to tell Pat and Taz, like you going like, who wants her email address? Who wants her last four of her credit card number? Could be actionable. It's yeah, you're not supposed to do that.
Pat Dixon is basically saying, no, I got all Gilly's information from the super tip system.
But he didn't. He got her last four of her credit card number, zip code, and a fake email address. Is that it? I don't even know. Moody, is that about right? We don't pass full addresses and stuff on. We don't even collect that. So is that it? So this is what this was all for, these threats. You guys want the last four of her credit card number? Smooth, Pat. Really smart dragging super tips into this. By the way, it's super tip. It's not super tips. And if you could put it all together as one word, don't capitalize the T, that'd be great. The product is super tip. Super tip. Just for everybody writing their stories and articles and clips.
Is that
my recommendation is to leave Pat alone. Like, I don't want to kick anybody out. That's retarded. This was just dumb. It was just a dumb thing to say. And I didn't know if he was aware, and I tried to help. I guess tone doesn't come across in chat. There's a reason I was trying to do it live. I wanted him to clarify it live. I had just learned about this.
And he's going to be like, oh, this is...
Yeah, it was Stripe that I got the information from and not Super Tips.
Right.
Absolutely.
It was Stripe that he got information from. But we already had the clip saying he got it from the Super Tips. So
Right. Kevin is right. Why did you say you got it from Super Tip? And do the little, just so you know, Super Tips aren't anonymous. Yeah, not if you go back into your billing system and match up timestamps. Yeah, man.
We already have that clip ready to go.
That's clear.
No, that's not clear.
Yeah, it was Stripe that I got the information from and not Super Tips.
Yeah, it wasn't clear. It wasn't.
Absolutely.
Look how he's blinking. Obviously, any FBI guy would be like, it's a clear tell that he's lying with all the blinking, sporadic.
You know how everybody knows it wasn't clear? Everybody went crazy like you dropped some bombshell. And you even said it like you were revealing something secretive.
Sporadic. What's the word when you do it all of a sudden?
That's clear.
It's not clear.
It's like I said, when you buy anything, anywhere, there's certain information that the person gets.
Yeah, fuck. So now they might not buy Super Tips off me if they know I get their credit card number. You fucking no, okay.
Right.
And Patrick, you guys need to get on the same fucking page, man. You and Moody.
So listen to this. Listen to this. Another retarded statement.
Because I mentioned these concerns to Moody, and he said, hey, it's your information. Do what you want.
That's not what he said. That's not exactly what he fucking said. We meant that you messaged Moody because you were like, hey, I'm about to be really petty and go public and tell everybody that Felicia's been sending me super tips anonymously. And Moody said, make sure you make it clear that you don't have access to more than you have access to. You know? And Pat, I should just read the fucking messages, I guess. Since Pat just put them all out and used them as... It's so stupid. Pat just texted me. I didn't say I'd put her credit card. You said, do you want her credit? Do you want the last four of her credit? You didn't say that? I mean, this is insane. Moody said the privacy policy on Supertip website does say the streamer has access to this information. You need it if you're going to run any sort of business that accepts money. But if you're going to go public, please don't imply there's more info than just what's there. And then Pat said, I am not, at least I do not intend to. And then Moody said, it's up to you. And I think Moody was replying to what was above. But he saying it's up to you to go public with this. To go, this hurts your rep. This hurts your rep. Pat says, I understand how even saying the right thing, and I think you mean the wrong thing, could easily be blown out into something that damages Supertip in the hands of unscrupulous and humiliated acts. So I will err to the side of caution. And then Moody said, you can do whatever you like, Pat. We're not going to tell you how to run your life or manage a relationship. She typed all this information herself. But also there's a bit of power in knowing that she's there, but not letting her know that you know. This information matches that of someone who asked probing and inappropriate questions of Taz related to her YouTube stream. The questions were related to sexual information about Taz and me. So it's good to know. Yeah, it's good to have that intel, but now you've blown your cover. I just don't know why you if you don't understand why it's a problem, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I like, there are people who tip anonymously and I can kind of tell who they are by their thing. I wouldn't, even with a falling out, man, like this is, but man, when you and Kevin are so vitriolic to each other and there's so much like anger and hate, this feels like vengeance or revenge. It has to be exacted. And like the attention, I guess, didn't come across with the tone. All I was fucking doing is saying, all I was trying to do was say, like, don't do that.
Fine. Nobody brought your company into it.
Yeah,
Or,
you did.
I guess
Yeah.
we just talk about it here. What do you mean it's my bullshit? I mean, yeah, sure, it's my bullshit. Leave your company out of it. Fine. Nobody brought your company into it.
Nobody brought my company into it. You went and looked up info on Stripe, found out it was Felicia, and then went back into my system and read out all her anonymous shit. Saying, hey, look, these super tips that you think are anonymous, not that anonymous. Yeah, you kind of brought. You made a decision to go live and de-anonymize something on our platform. It is a problem. I know. You think it like, It's just like a dickish thing to do to a friend who's like, I'm not, what do I do? What did I do? Like, Moody says, I left that conversation thinking Pat wasn't going to blow it or go public. Wouldn't have left it there if I thought this was going to happen. Pat needs to stop thinking about Felicia for his own sake. I mean, that's not going to happen. He can do whatever he wants. He can make his show about whatever the fuck he wants. I'm telling you, it's to your own detriment.
Is this okay,
I mean, I'm
Tio?
available. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not one of these people. I don't like to have all this shit out in public.
Then why did you do it in public? Why did you comb through our website and read her anonymous things? And then be like, anybody want the last 4 of her? Nobody brought your company into it. Hey, these super tips aren't that, It's like, okay. It's kind of been brought in just a little bit. I didn't even care about that. Honestly, like, again, I don't even care about this. I just know that, like, the company's under a lot of scrutiny right now, and legal teams are going to be looking at stuff, and, like, it just, like, policies are going to be developed, like, official shit, and, like, they're going to make the decisions on it. And, like, if you think... And they don't care. Like, they're not going to, you know that how, like, lawyers are just like, let's not get sued. What's the safest thing to do? Ban them both. Right. Got it.
You know, but you know,
How was the one
If Stripe reaches out, and they're like this, you know, one of your partner accounts got a complaint on it about doxing or threats to dox or whatever, then we'll have to tell them that actually both these users are harassing each other. And, you know, if they advise us, like if Stripe tells us to kick you off, we have to. I'm trying to avoid all that and get just a little bit of a like, oh yeah, I don't really understand the laws involved with that. You're the vendor. You're the one who's not supposed to reveal customer data. You're charged with that.
said he has Gilly's zip code and all her personal information.
Now, did you say I have all her personal information? Or imply that there was more? It's up to interpretation. But this is also what Moody was kind of like, don't do. You know, it's like,
through the super tip system. Now I was trying to blame it on Stripe, and I was trying to blame it on Melton's company, shit company.
since it's out here, I did talk to Moody. I did express that concern. I said, hey, I don't want this to be some kind of fucking thing, you know.
Oh, cool. Then don't bring it up. Great. Don't talk about your customers. Case closed. But Pat was like, look, I know me. I've got some information. It's about Felicia. It makes her look stupid. It might burn all my trustworthiness. And it might make Supertip look bad. Is this cool? Even reaching out and having that conversation is wild. Dude, I reached out and said, like, this could hurt Supertip. That was one of my concerns. I can tell.
Like, I don't want this to reflect badly on Supertips and all that. I'll show you the fucking conversation since he's in your company.
Yeah. Let's
I
see
mean,
it.
you guys are the same company.
Let's see it.
And then again, the message is Moody advising him not to do it.
So he wants me to clarify. I looked up.
This is my first message to him last night. I just came in his chat while he was live. I wanted it to be live. I wanted it to be public. That's why you didn't get a text. Can you please clarify you looked up Felicia's personal information on Stripe and not Supertip, please? We don't store anyone's information. Thanks. That was it. That's what started all this.
I looked at it. I didn't look at
Nobody likes on you. Can you please clarify that you looked up Felicia's personal information on Stripe? I guess that's like the billing system and not Supertip, please. We don't store anyone information. That now they're in a bit of a panic.
it up.
Yes. The offices were abuzz with faxes today from our legal team.
Okay, so this is the beginning of it. Okay. So he wants me to clarify. I looked up. I looked at it. I didn't look it up.
When he paused on this and like nitpicks the language here, I was like, oh boy. Oh boy.
You have to look up anything. When you're on Stripe, you don't have to look it up. It's listed. So there's no looking it up. All right. So I didn't look anything up. Let's not fucking get it twisted.
I just went to Stripe, logged in, went to recent transactions, clicked on everyone until I saw Felicia's zip code. I just saw it. I logged in. There was a list of them. I saw her zip code. I clicked on it. Saw her name was Felicia. Read the email address. Cross-referenced that back with every super tip that used that email address ever. Yeah, I didn't look anything up. Oh, okay. Okay. Fuck.
So I didn't look anything up. Let's not fucking get it twisted.
Okay.
Like
You observed it. You
let me look up her personal information.
see. This is like guilt. This is like guilty speak. This is insane. Okay, you didn't look it up. You synced it. You found it. It was there. They emailed it to you. They held your eyelids open and made you.
Taz
looks it up for you, right?
Information. By the way, it's not her personal information. It's her fucking publicly shared information. As far
Okay, so that's what we're dealing with. He doesn't get it. It's not her personal information, her credit card, zip code, name, email address. That's her publicly shared information. She publicly shared that into a secure connection website. She's publicly shared it over end-to-end encryption. Idiots.
Stripe goes. I mean,
It's her billing information or personal. Looks it up for you, right?
Information. By the way,
So this is when I realized, like, oh, he doesn't understand what he's like. This is bad, Pat. It's bad. It's not her public. It's not yours to distribute as you see fit because you misinterpreted Moody.
Personal information.
Moody said I could do anything I want with it. Oh, you're dumb.